What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gen. Today, we're going to talk about DeFi Kingdoms and the curse of inflation. If you're new to this channel, you probably haven't heard me talk about this in the past, but I've been talking about this all the time on this channel. I've been talking about it on Twitter, and I've been very vocal about what inflation does to take away from your gains. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next few minutes, next 10, 20 minutes. If you haven't done this already, make sure you like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Also interact, post a comment, post in the chat, let me know what you're thinking. How do you feel? Say the good mornings for DeFi Kingdoms, whatever you gotta do. Now, one of the things that we want to make sure we look at is the different types of assets in the games. There are Gen 0 heroes, and then there are every other kind of hero. And as you know, Gen 0 heroes are the Genesis 0, and they have no more additional supply outside the 8,000 or so that will be minted in totality. Then you have lands, which also have a sort of fixed supply. I think only 100 of which are out so far. Once again, there's going to be more of them, but it's also going to be limited. You can't just sit there and turn on a power plant and just keep churning these things out. Then you have the other heroes. So these are heroes all descending from those Genesis heroes, and they can be as many as people want, as many as people are willing to create. You also have pets, which are a direct result of the number of eggs that are found by those heroes. And then you have every other inventory item, whether you find them through quests or whether you earn them through raffles or through duels. So let's go through each of those, but let's first start with our power tokens. So I normally cover the price action of the power tokens. I'm gonna save that for Wednesday. Actually, you know what? I can talk about it. So Jewel right now, Jewel is one of 3 of our power tokens. It is very close to approaching our all-time low at 10.12 cents. Let's not forget there is that whale out there that keeps dumping a ton of Jewel. This morning, they dumped a couple 100,000 of Jewel, causing the price to come down from 11 cents to 10.7 cents. And honestly, we shouldn't expect this to change. I expect Jewel to come and break below this 10-cent mark, as this whale has about 4 million Jewel left, and they're going to keep selling it. Why would they stop, right? They've shown no inclination of stopping, and now that people at least have smartened up and aren't buying as much back, we're starting to see that whale say, hey, forget it. Forget selling 50,000 at a time. I'm going to sell 100,000 at a time. I made a video about this exact situation about a week ago. Make sure you check that video out. Now, talking about everything else here, the other thing you want to sort of remember is Jewel is the only power token that is deflationary. And what that means is there will be no more Jewel being created. In fact, it's going to be burned as part of the gas mechanism on the Avalanche subnet, which we affectionately know as Crystal Veil. So in the short term, we're going to see some really bad price action due to this whale, due to other people who are choosing to leave the project. In the long term, we're going to see Jewel get burned and sort of this price action be absorbed by buyers who come into the ecosystem, who recognize sort of the opportunity that exists in front of us. Hey, Mookie, Hey, Mookie, welcome. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Thanks for watching. So that's Jewel. And Jewel is the only deflationary token we have in the game. We also have Crystal, and it's funny if you watch Sarge's stream last night where we talked about Crystal and Jade. He asked me what I would do if there was a positive candle, and I'm like, wow, I would be super pumped, because there aren't that right now. All we see is nonstop drip, 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 both on Crystal as well as Jade. And we are getting dangerously close to breaking 1 cent on Crystal, and we've already broken 1 cent on Jade just 2 days ago. We are now sitting at 0.979 cents, which is awful, right? Once again, short-term wise, we got to grin and bear it. Long-term wise, it shouldn't be that much of an issue, even for these tokens. The site I'm showing you now is called DFK Foundry. Shout out to Chris, DeFi Pirate, for sharing this with me. I had no idea that this resource existed, but if you click on any of these, it will show you how much these things are inflating by. So I hit Crystal, and by the way, the data is only live as of a few weeks. So back on July 16, 2023, we were sitting at 83.7 million Crystal. And right before August 13th, August 12th, we're sitting at 90.9 million Crystal, or 91 million. So over the last month, we've seen an addition of 10% in Crystal. So is it any surprise that we're seeing the price of Crystal just continue to drop, right? Because we're diluting it. All the Crystal that exists here, why would you hold on to it? People are just going to create more of it. So that's why the value of Crystal just continues to dump. Like, this is not a good chart. Like, would you consider this a very good investment? Probably not. And I hope you were watching my Winning Wednesdays back in February when I mentioned to dump this token when the token hit 8.6 cents and broke through this resistance line. I said I wasn't confident that it would bounce back any other way. And we're starting to see this continue to go down, sitting at almost at 1 cent. If I go back here and now hit Jade, we're going to see a very similar story. A month ago, 52.5 million Jade, and now 55.7. Not the same amount of appreciation, just like 2 to 3 million Jade. Still, 5% increase in supply in a month, right? Is it any surprise? The other thing I do is I take a look at the number of heroes that exist in the ecosystem. So let's take a month ago, over here, 640,000 heroes, and now we're sitting at 670,000 heroes. So 30,000 heroes that exist, plus 30,000 from a month, another 5% increase. And with that comes all those tokens that they find. This means they're finding more eggs, they're finding more tiers, they're finding everything. All those items that used to hold a bunch of value, they're just being drained because people are getting smart. People are maybe watching this channel and learning, hey, I should be selling these items because if I keep holding on to them, if I stack these items, the price will keep going down. Don't listen to those people who say to you, hey, why would I sell now? Or why would I sell these items now when they're worth so little? They were saying this when these items were worth 100x the value. I remember when Swift Thistle was worth $20, I was selling it. When Swift Thistle went to $5, I was selling it. When it was $1, I was selling it. When it was 50 cents, I was selling it. And now that it's a few cents, I am still selling it. And those people didn't sell at 20, didn't sell at 10, didn't sell at 5, didn't sell at 30 cents. And their argument is, why would you sell at 2 cents? Well, guess what? The price of these will continue to go down. Now, am I saying this is going to happen for long term? No. But I'm going to explain why sort of as we go through this. My whole thing here is try to get the most value out of your heroes as possible. So they're out there in the fields, they're burning Jewel, right, to quest. They're coming back with a bunch of items and a bunch of XP, increasing their hero value NFT, and you're finding these items. But with the exception of a few items, most of these items are trending towards zero. And the reason for that is because the use case just isn't there yet. Will there be a use case in the future? I'm sure there will be. But guess what? There will always be more heroes. So even then that use case comes, the amount of heroes continues to exponentially increase, right? We're seeing 5% this month. Imagine how it's going to be as we see more users. We're just going to continue seeing a complete sort of saturation of all of these items that are found by heroes, right? You should look at sort of the item supply as a function of the hero population. And with auto questers and everything else making it super easy to find these items to do the quest for you, these items are just being generated. As you know, I use DFK Helper. DFK Helper is sitting there with 250 heroes on one wallet for me, and it is just finding me a ton of items. And every so often, I just use the auto sell service to continue dumping all of those items on the market, extracting value, right? Let's take a look at tiers now. Actually, let's look at pets first, and then we'll look at gold, then tiers. Pets went from 144K to 157K, so about 10% increase. Gold went from 1.8 billion gold to 2.12 billion gold. Let's not forget, it wasn't just like 3 to 4 weeks ago where you could trade in 1,000 gold for 2 crystal. Now 1,000 gold is like 1 crystal, right? This is sort of why I say, don't listen to these people who want to stack. Once again, ask them, or ask yourself this: do you want to emulate their success? Do you want to emulate the value of their account? Most people are down because they're not willing to ever sell. And they tell themselves these things. Hey, the game's going to do fantastic, and then I'm going to sell. Hey, guess what? That opportunity will still exist for you if you own the heroes. This is why I'm saying, don't get rid of the heroes, get rid of the items. Those heroes will still make more items, and if the items go up, well, guess what? You can still make more of them and sell those items then. This is why, and by the way, tiers is probably sort of my best reason, and let me sort of explain why. Tiers is sitting at 17.6 million, and it goes up to 18.6. This tiers probably has the biggest use case in the game with summoning and with hatching, and also potentially with leveling up, or not leveling up, but summoning higher leveled heroes to use those bonuses. Let me see if I still have tiers here. So tiers is now effectively worth 0.3 cents. Do you remember when a ton of DFK influencers were saying tiers will go to 10 cents or $1 or $2? And I was pretty much one of the few voices of reason telling you to sell up here, right? We never broke 2 cents. The entire time I was telling you guys, I was selling all the way here. As we ran up and as we ran down, I've been selling tiers nonstop. I haven't stopped selling. I was selling at 2 cents or 1.9 cents, 1.5 cents, 1.2 cents, 1 cent, and I am selling now at 0.3 cents. Why? Because once again, you have heroes that will continue making these. When heroes were making these items for me, and I was making like, I don't know, a couple hundred tiers a day, and that was like, $4 or $5 a day, easy profit. Easy sell, easy sell. Instead, what did I see on Twitter? People saying, hey, I'm going to buy, I'm going to stack. And guess what happened? They were stacking and being my exit liquidity, and the exit liquidity of every single person who was smart enough to take the short-term profit, sell out, and then, hey, look, maybe you don't want to sell here, sure. But at some point, you have to sort of take the risk off the table. One of my biggest goals in DeFi Kingdoms, I've mentioned this before, I'm not there yet, is to make my account house money, right? I want to make sure all my Gen Zeros are paid off and all my heroes are paid off. Because you know what? My biggest loss in this game so far has actually been that I was buying a bunch of mythic heroes and mythic pets. Those mythic pets were at one point worth a couple $100. Now they're worth like $20 to $40 each. So I've taken huge losses on those. The same thing with mythic heroes that I bought for a couple $100. They're now worth fractions of that amount. I bought a mythic dragoon for like 700 US maybe a few months ago, and now it's worth like 300 US. So like even those assets where I felt, hey, look, they are the infinitely small percentile of the inflation curve. And I said, hey, mythics are like 1% of the hero population, maybe even less. I'll stack those. And even those have seen drastic value erosion. Why? Because people are making mythics nonstop. You're able to dark summon, you're able to do all of that. And this has caused their value to come down. So it's not to say that I've had a perfect record. This was somewhere that I've lost. But guess what? I've won a lot more than I've lost in this game, and I will be transparent to tell you that. So that's tiers. Now, I want to look for King Pincer. I haven't seen if it's here yet. Inventory items, poison, stones. No, it's not here. And you know what? One of the things, here it is, King Pincer. This item has gone from 1.68 million to almost 2 million, 1.9. I want you to take a look at the price of King Pincers. I know this price very well because I have been trading King Pincers every few days. And it's staggering how much that price has dropped. You can see I only have 6 of them left. Zoom out on the price here. Right now, it's sitting at 0.014. But let's look at it in terms of crystal. It used to be 0.2 crystal. Now it's 0.1171. Now let's zoom out here and let's just take a look. So, what am I doing here? Okay. When you zoom out and let's go to the 4 hours. You see how in the last little while it was sitting at 0.2 and now it's just been dumping. So I've been selling, I've been selling the whole time, even down here, but it was 0.2 at one point and people still refuse to sell. And it's just easy to make your money that way. The other thing that I would mention here is probably the items that are doing the best are the ones that everyone needs that aren't created as much. Moshka runes, number one. And then all the stones. Stones are fantastic. I had a Might Stone and I sold it for 50 jewel earlier on the bazaar. That's still like $5 US. That's a really good deal. And that is still that's an item that's been there since the start and it's not inflationary. And they did it right? These stones are worth so much and I'm still cashing these out. Why? Because I will win these by doing the in-game activities. And as you know, I don't stone my heroes. I buy my heroes on the market where I want them, right? And then the other piece of this as well is I know a lot of you are sitting there summoning and saying, hey, I just want to stack a bunch of Gen 1 10 out of 10 heroes. Well, as you know, I share a spreadsheet sort of every single summon that I do. Let me just show you how much money I made in July. And we do this because let's just assume they're all in Jade token. Some I summoned on Crystal Veil because it was cheaper, but not just that. The Jade is the lowest value of the token, and we'll assume 1 cent for Jade, even though Jade was like 1.3 at this point. I'm just gonna go down here and wait until I find all the way to end of July. So here we go. Okay. If you look at the sum on the bottom of the screen, you can't see it, but it's 16,078. So I made 16,000 Jade in that month from summoning off 6 or 7 Gen Zeros. That, if you translate it, is $161 at the lowest price. Jade was 1.3 cents, 1.4 cents during that month. So I probably made somewhere around 200 to 250 US dollars summoning, just summoning alone. And this is what I mean when I hear people tell me that DeFi Kingdoms is a rug, that people just lose money in DeFi Kingdoms. They're wrong. They're just listening to the wrong people. Don't listen to people who just tell you to build up your account, to stack your account. Hey, if you do that, you're helping me, because I will tell you right now with sort of no shame, I will be selling into you and you can buy all of my items. And later on, when the game does take off, because I do think the game will take off, I don't know if these items will be worth anything, because hey, there might be new items or there may be different derivative items like stones and Moshka runes that they sort of fix the supply on, that they make worthwhile to hold. Those items will do fantastic. And guess what? My army is what is going to sit there and continue to grow, and they're the ones that's going to make me money. The items that I've been stacking are not worth it. If you just take a look at eggs, I think eggs are probably the biggest culprit here. Let me just look for egg. I do it here. DFK egg. No. Okay. We'll just do it from here. We'll go to the trader and we'll just check the price. Let's look at the green egg, because the green egg was one that I got a ton of flack for, because I was selling it right before the green egg hatching got launched, like literally like the day before, I think. I posted on Twitter and I got a lot of flack for it. Like I said, I honestly don't care. Like, at the end of the day, I trust myself over sort of the words of some people who, like, you know, have not proven themselves to be profitable. Just turn people who want to just talk and sort of say they've done things in this game or sort of say that they know what's best. But all they're hoping for is a bull market. And guess what? In a bull market, every single person wins. I don't need guidance, and you don't need guidance for a bull market. In a bull market, you can do anything you want and you'll still win. In a bear market, you've got to make smart decisions because your capital is limited. Why is it not loading? My computer is the literal worst. This is the last time that I buy an iMac. I bought an iMac 2 years ago, paid like $8,000 like an idiot. That was probably my worst investment, actually. And it is so slow. It gives me so many problems. It's so frustrating. I'm actually looking to piece out a new computer and build it for streaming to have like multiple monitors and everything. If any of you have, you know, any expertise in this, let me know, because I'm still in the midst of buying it. It's going to be Intel based and not Mac based, or sorry, not like, it's going to be a PC and not a Mac is what I meant to say. Okay, let's just see if this works. Egg, and we'll look at it from a USDC price perspective once this loads. Green egg. Okay, and we'll look at it from USDC. All right. So right now, green egg is worth 5 cents. Let's zoom out. Let's look at it on the day. Right. So like, at the start of 2023, it was worth like $1 or something. It's not showing it here. Oh, here. It's hard to see because the scales are so bad. You can see here, like, the prices of green eggs. You can't see it. So I remember a time when green eggs were worth like a couple $100. And I remember being on Fox Escrow, buying and selling. In fact, I made a video saying, hey, fastest way to make $10, and you literally would just post an egg, you buy it on the tavern, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, because every time somebody bought one or sold one, the price would move up or down one level. And I was making $10 at a time, but it was super easy. And because it was a bull market, people were like, I don't care for $10. Now people are sitting there questing for like a few cents, right? So you guys, I'm just saying, when you're doing this, focus on the actual win, focus on building your account for the long term. The way to do that is by investing in deflationary assets. I will not be buying any more sort of heroes that are not Gen Zeros, because there's no reason to. Like, when PvP comes out and we have a better idea of how all this is going to look, then maybe I'll change my mind. I'm happy to sort of sit behind and watch everyone else sort of mash some heroes together to create their elites, their transcendent heroes, like transcendent Dread Knights. I'm not very lucky anyways. And eventually I'll get a mythic Dread Knight, but I just can't justify spending a couple $1,000 for a mythic Dread Knight right now, when I've seen that when I bought a mythic Dragoon, it dropped 50%. I bought a mythic Sage for $250 US recently. I'm already regretting that decision. I probably shouldn't have done it, but I just said, hey, you know what? I just wanted to wrap up pretty much everything but the mythic Dread, so I did it. Probably a mistake from me, but hey, as you can see, my summoning results, at least I'm making money in a ton of other areas to offset for some of these things. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. What are you doing in DeFi Kingdoms? Are you sitting there and stacking your account? Have you been sitting there and selling your stuff? How are you positioning yourself for the long term? Also, please continue to watch these videos. Continue to watch everybody who creates DeFi Kingdoms videos. Like, subscribe, share the video. I want to thank you for watching. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.